She used to encourage me, oh, anakuja ananiambia some sayings about the Quran. Nasikia, I'm like, one day, maybe nitajoin. I'm still experimenting. And funny thing, going back to my undergrad, tukiwa second year, there's this Uganda friend lady of mine, pia alipitia the same issues we have. Familia yake iko inamsupport and she's from Uganda, so wako huku Kenya na ako peke yake. So we used to help each other. So I remember kuna time tunatembea huku town. Sijui idea ilitoka wapi, tulipitia kwa is it a temple somewhere ya Wahindu. So walikuwa wanapatiana hizi vitabu za Wahindi. So tukajiuliza ama tukue Wahindi. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jina langu ni hapo awali nikiwa Mkristo, jina langu lilikuwa Stanley Kinyanjui. Alafu niliposilimu nikaweza kuchukua jina Lukman Kinyanjui. Na nashukuru kuhudhuria hiki kipindi cha safari ya kwenda Jannah, ama kwa kimombo My Journey to Jannah. Yeah, so nimezaliwa hapa Kenya, kaunti ya Kiambu, nilikuwa Kikuyu. Lakini kwa sasa tunaishi Naivasha. Kwa sasa naishi peke yangu hapa Nairobi. Nafanya kazi hapa na pale. So kama nilivyowaambia, nilizaliwa Mkristo katika kanisa ya Kianglikana, that's Anglican Church. Hapo ndio kubatizwa kwangu, kwenda kanisa mpaka nilipokuwa mkubwa. Most of my primary schools zilikuwa za Kikristo. So they were mainly instilling lazima muende church. Yeah. So it was all Christian. Hapo sikuwa ipata hata Muislamu yote, so it was very new to me. But for my form 1, yeah, I remember, yeah, form 1 nilipata Muislamu, though sikuwa iona akinini ama sikuwa that interested in the lifestyle ama nini hivyo. But form 2 ndio niliweza kupata Waislamu wengi. I used to see them go to mosque. So on Fridays hapo ndio saa hata nilianza kurealize, yeah, cause like 3/4 ya class yenye nilikuwa, there were people from coast and walikuwa Waislamu. So Friday ungepata walimu hata wakuji class. Reason being walikuwa wanapatiwa nafasi ya kwenda msikiti, wanaenda for the Juma prayers. Yeah. So hapo ndio niliweza kujua Islam. Wanaenda mosque, they do their prayers and everything. So that's the distinction between them as Muslims and us as Christians, that they have 5 prayers. They pray 5 times a day. They have the Quran, and maybe on Fridays they're allowed to wear the kanzu and stuff. Yeah. As Christians, there used to be like there's so much judgment. Wacha tu niseme hivyo. There's so many judgments that if you do not do this, you are so evil. There's that distinction, and there are so many denominations. Because nikiwa hapo shule unapata we all Christians, yes, but sasa unapata hawa ni CU, reason being wanaenda PC Anglican and stuff. Then for the Catholics kuna hiyo Young Catholics Association, or I think YCA. Then kuna watu wa SDA for the Sabbath on Saturday. So I was like, there are so many divisions, and yet we are praying one God. So I was getting curious and more curious. Why? So lakini hakuna mtu angekuambia ni so. Alafu because of my challenges with the authorities, sikuwa nataka question sana, and it was like almost mandatory, lazima ungeattend Sunday service, to a point that ukikosa kuattend you will be even expelled or punished. So it's like it wasn't fair, but I used to feel like it's so oppressive. Why should you force me into submission? And maybe aujui kama naifanya out of my own free will ama ni school rule, unaona. So it used to be challenging, but you say utaki question authority na utaki kufukuzwa ukose kumaliza masomo, so you're like, let me follow the rest. So ni kama kondoo tu unafuata tu wengine, you see, which is not right. So I never used to like it. Then for Muslims or whatever, I used to like it because hakuna mtu angewafuatilia. You see, it's a Christian school, so hata walimu wenyewe wajui as Muslims what are they supposed to do. So a Muslim maybe angekuja mwambie, mimi nimeenda mosque, hata mquestion, because it's like, oh, they're supposed to pray na wako na their own secluded place. Na si lazima uende hizo prayer meetings ama kulikuanga na hizi functions especially during the weekends, weekend challenge and stuff. Si wengine wote tukifosiwa kuenda nini, they are allowed to go to do other stuff because they do not believe in what we believe in. So they had that freedom or they had that choice. Yeah. So it happened as I was moving from this private school. So I had an issue with the principal there. So it's like I give an ultimatum to my parent. If you do not transfer me from this school, then that's the end of my education. So she was obligated to look for another school for me. So I went, nikafanya interview, but instead of going to the form for my final year, somehow I said, wacha nirudie form 3. But now it was very challenging. That same day nimeadmitiwa. Nenda tu kuuliza swali. Out of nowhere mwalimu teacher on duty anasema no. You are planning to do a strike in this school. Hata jui kama mimi ni mgeni. Because I was going to my fellow friend a form 4. Anisaidia mathematical equation hapo ilikuwa inanisumbua. So because of the noise tukashikwa. The following day we were taken to the principal office. Then I was asked my name. Then I was admitted yesterday. They was like, no, you won't survive in this school. You should be going away. So my first week in school ilikuwa punishment, kufyeka nyasi, doing the even teachers were like, you guy umekuja wiki ya kwanza. Then I had miss kwa na vitabu zangu for my former school, syllabus nilikuwa nyuma, so I had a very challenging time, but it came and passed. So in order to avoid being expelled, so nikaanza giving that image of a good person. So of course they expect you to be participating well in class, unaenda so that you are religious, unaingia CU, una participate. So I don't know if it was a blessing. Mi nilishtukia tu at some point because there were this election of officials for the Christian Union. So I was elected. Wali announce jina yangu mara kwanza nikasema that's not me. Because I'm not expecting myself 1 month later after being admitted that nitakuwa elected into some post. I'm still new. Then wakarudia tena. So well, nikasimama because hakuna mtu mwingine anaitwa jina yangu. Then I went in front, introduced myself. Then I was an official that way. Yeah, and I served since that. I was a representative of my class. So any like CU activities within the organization, I would like present the activities to my class, and like if it's conduct prayers on a daily basis for the class, I used to be in charge of that. Yeah. As an official there, well, it molded me because there's a way, there was an expectation of how a CU officials should conduct themselves. Like you're not expected to like oppress others or do some bad stuff. So if you are like caught in some other activities, they were like, and you are a CU official. So you are very keen that you're not found in a certain company or you're doing some other things, because even the teachers themselves like lose trust in you. So, well, apart from that, I was an official, of course, in some other clubs and other activities. But that did not, my expectation was like the principal would change a mentality of me. But it did not happen all of a sudden, because anytime he was like expecting me, no. He wanted to prove other teachers wrong or other people wrong, that I'm still the same person who is so evil. But unfortunately, no, because I remember there was a time I used to participate in these science fairs, competitions, and mathematical contests. So there was a time I got to the national competition of the science. It was in Machakos. Then he was forced to announce my name during the school parade on a Monday. Then he called my name. Then he was like, is this the same person? When I was going out, because I had brought a trophy to the school. Then I was like, it's you. So you can do some good to this school. And I was like, oh yeah. So somehow he was forced to accept that I'm a good person. Then of course I finished my form 4, went back home. So I was forced to like go to my parents' church, the Anglican as well. So there, since I was among the few youths in that church, I was appointed to be like a chairman. I was a youth chairman then. That time there were so many challenges as family were going through. So I was like, I used to ask my mom, why can't we ask the church to help us? then because she's that humble person, she doesn't like to bother other people. She was like, no, we'll always find a way to solve our challenges. But I felt very bad because we're always there for the church. Why can't the church be there for us? So that was like a turning point for me now to start like looking to other religions and what's right for me. Then it happened as I graduated. I didn't expect it because I failed to choose a course that I wanted to participate in. The window was closed. So I was called to an institution in Kisumu by the name of Maseno. And the religion, I don't know, not the religion, the course that they chose for me to go and do there was quite funny. I didn't expect me to be called into religion. So I was to go and study religion on its own. I was like, let me not brush away this opportunity. So I went. So I studied for my first year, but I was like, no, this is not the career for me. But during that first year, I got to learn a lot of things because we were taught all kinds of religions, from Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, the origin, the lifestyle, why they do this, why these people are into this kind of religion. Yeah. So that's where I got to learn most about the Islam and the differences between different religions, similarities, yeah, the monotheism and stuff, yeah. So at some point, due to the strikes, I got to shift to the school, and then I wanted to get into a career of my choice, so I had to drop out, and that's how I came to Nairobi and started to pursue my undergraduate in civil aviation management at Moi University, Nairobi campus. When I came to Nairobi, I never used to go to church, but also it was like due to the circumstances that I was going through, since I was doing an evening class, and since I was under private sponsorship, I had to like contribute part of my school fees. So I had to look for a part-time job to do. So you'll find that since I'm doing evening classes, I will be forced to like on Sundays, in order to like compensate for those days that I'm not around. So I had to work a full day on Sunday. So that contributed to me not going to church. So for like almost 2 years, I didn't go to church. Well, I used to listen to those online conferences and stuff, like the likes of Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer and stuff. But it wasn't enough. I would feel like there's something missing. Yeah, there's some spirituality in me that I'm lacking. So challenges were still there. Then I would ask myself, why am I going through this and I can see my fellow Christians around me? Why can't I tell them and help me like a brother or a sister? You see, you are a first year, you've come to the city. Everything is dependent on you. Whatever you eat, you're shopping, going to class. There's no one like looking after you that you have to go to class, you have to do this. So there's no pocket money. I have to like buy shoes, my clothes and stuff. So it was quite challenging, and you have no one to talk to because people are assuming you're okay. And the institution that I'm going to, most of the people are working class and they're from well-off families. So you see, it's aviation. So aviation is so prestigious. So you're like, if you're into aviation, you must be coming from a good background. But that's not the case. So, because I remember I was the only person actually working at the school, because I was working in the school cafeteria. Then they were like, how comes you are mopping our floors during the day and washing utensils? Then you're still a student here. How? Then I'm like, I have to study. I have to like push for it. I want to achieve my dream. So, well, I pushed for it, but it was challenging because I remember during my second year, there was a time school fees imekosekana kabisa. I even asked my mom, can I drop out? And she was like, no, God will always provide. It was so stressful because I couldn't even tell her I'm not eating. There's no food for me. At the time, because I used to live in the hostel, it's so expensive. So I was like, I have to move out from the hostel and look for a cheaper residence. But where? It really pushed me to the point of depression. So, and there are few people that I could tell that could understand. Luckily, I had a friend of mine. She's a Christian still, but from a Hindu family. So she was the class rep, so she understood me, and sometimes she would like lend me some few coins or few notes, go buy something, maybe do some shopping. Then she recommended me to her friend who was doing some therapies at Kenyatta National Hospital. So I used to go for therapy sessions due to the depression. But eventually I overcome. I was able to do my second year, move on to third year. When you go for therapy, they are like trying to give you a solution to your problem. But the real problem out there hasn't been solved. Because your whole issue is finances. That person wants to give you a job or want to like give you money to go and solve that problem. So they will give you that calmness or sanity for you to like go and look for a job or do something that's productive for yourself. I think ilikuwa tu inani prepare ku overcome zile challenges zingine zitakuja ahead of me. Because I remember nilitoka nje from the hostel. I hosted somebody. Later on, akanigeuzia and went with everything. So I was left homeless again. Moved to another person to be assisted. Then later on, napata anataka kuishi na mtu fulani. So I'm the one to move out again. So it was like preparing me for a life of being a nomad. So I never since, I think nilihama mara 3-4. So paka right now where I am in sleep penye sana niko stable, and hapo ndio nesa nikajiestablish paka nikamaliza my classes. Yeah. So it wasn't easy. Hapo actually between that period hata nilikuwa na familia yangu, it was like I was forsaken because I was like, how are you mbali sana, but how am I suffering while they're existing? I had to admit I have to find my own ways, because I remember hiyo time umefungiwa nyumba, umenyang'anywa kila kitu, so I had to like for 1 week nilikuwa nalala kwa, because it's Pipeline. Kuna hizo movie shops ama movie studios, so watu wanaenda kuwatch hizo DJ Afro and stuff. So I used to time ikifika jioni watu wakienda kuwatch juu kuna giza, it's a theater, so hawataki mwangaza. So naenda bench ya mwisho huko chini, hapo ndio nalala mpaka asubuhi. Then naamka because class yangu ni jioni, so I have to look for money to like eat. So ni unaenda unaoshia mtu kiatu, anakupatia chenye kupatia, unaenda car wash, unaosha gari. So una survive, unaingia kwa hoteli unaosha vyombo, anakupatia chakula that way. So nilisurvive hivyo hadi juu sikuwa hadi na nguo. I remember I only had ile nguo tu nimevaa. Nilisurvive nayo hiyo 1 week ndio ni save sana niweze kununua nguo ya kubadilisha, hiyo ndio nioshe hii. So that's what happened. But I overcame. So people go through challenges in this Nairobi, but anyway, usiogope. So that's what happened mpaka nika graduate. Na hata hiyo graduation ni challenging. So nimetafuta hiyo school fees, but ikifika time ya graduation naambia you can't graduate. And there is no reason enough. So I remember we had to go to court. So venye waliona it's a serious matter, wameitwa kwa koti. So hiyo jioni usiku ndio tunaslotiwa in. So I even wasn't like that expectant that you see there is that hype, oh I'm graduating now. Mimi sikuwa nayo because nimepigana vita, I'm like nimelipa school fees yangu, I've done my exams, nimepass. Then why are you like unaninyima haki yangu ya graduate? Why? My journey in Islam, probably I can say it's what contributed most is my mom. Because partly last year, as I was going through those challenges, si graduate nini, especially venye nilienda nikamwambia I won't graduate and everything, then she was like, akanipatia my history. She was like, since you are ever born, I knew there will be challenges. It wasn't ever easy with you. Because at the time akifanya kazi, hata akiniacha alikuwa anaogopa. There was a time ati alishtuka, I'm not breathing. So she had to go to church, niombewe nini, then it was like, nilianza kubreathe, so she was afraid I was dying. Then hapo it was a turning point of her going back to church, because hiyo time hakuwa anaenda church. So she went back to church. So I think that was the belief of her that God redeemed me. So kumwelezea masaibu akasema, so akaanza kunipush, oh go to church. Mara ananiambia there is this especially there is new, I don't know if there is a new pastor, anaitwa Pastor Ezekiel from the coast. So he has been coming for several crusades in Nairobi. So every time he comes, my mom is like, oh, wacha hata nikutumie fare, go to his crusade, utaombewa and everything will be okay. Then I'm like, should I put my trust into a man or into God? Now you see, because it's like now people are glorifying that pastor or something. So I was like, oh, she kept pushing, go to this church, toa tithe, offering, do good deeds. She was on my neck on that every time. So most of the time sikuwa naenda, so namwambia nilienda na sijaenda. Then at some point nikaanza kumwambia I'm experimenting. Nilitoka hiyo church nimeenda hii church. So I was from church to church nikitafuta what specifically is for me. So I remember nimeenda CTAM. CTAM I was attracted by the praise and worship. Nikaenda another Holy Ghost church hapo. They were preaching about of some prophet. Nikaenda down to these traditional churches, PCA, Catholic, ACK. Then eventually sasa after hizo shida I remember there was this friend of mine. She's a lady, her name is Sophia, so she's a Muslim. She used to encourage me, anakuja ananiambia some sayings about the Quran. Nasikia, I'm like, one day, maybe nitajoin. I'm still experimenting. And funny thing, going back to my undergrad, tukiwa second year, there's this Uganda friend lady of mine, pia alipitia the same issues. We have family yake iko inamsupport and she's from Uganda, so wako huku Kenya na kwa peke yake. So we used to help each other. So I remember kuna time tunatembea huku town. Sijui ID ilitoka wapi, tulipitia kwa is it a temple somewhere ya Wahindu. So walikuwa wanapatiana hizi vitabu za Wahindi. So tukajiuliza ama tukue Wahindi. So last year that lady, friend of mine, alikuwa ananiambia kuwa Muislamu. Then I told her, I used to keep on telling her, at my own time I'll decide. I'm still finding out what I want. And until that time I will. I used to have those Islamic friends, especially on Friday. So jumko kawaida, then Friday all of a sudden washindo, watu wameenda wapi? Kumbe wameenda mosque. Then I'm alone, so sasa mimi nabaki nikifanya nini? I have to find a way. Eventually, I remember it was on a Friday. Nilikuwa tu Garissa huko Isli. So nimeenda tu pita zangu. Of course, it's always crowded. But sa Friday, juu watu wameenda ni iko crowded. Kumefungwa. I was like, Then venye tu iliisha hapo around 1:30. Nikaona wametokea. It's like a whole congregation and it's so uniform. They are so dressed very well. So it was very attractive. I was like, why should I become one of them? Kuna jina nilisikianga once, Lukman. Let me try this name. Then luckily kwa hiyo sheikh nilienda anaitwa Sheikh Salim. He's a sheikh in Isli. So nikamwambia nataka kusilimu. Akaniuliza umechagua jina? Yeah. Nikamwambia Lukman. Very nice. Do you know the meaning? No. It means the wisest or wise man. Then I was like, now this is the name for me. Because in high school, kila mtu alikuwa ananiita wise man. Because nilikuwa napenda kucheza na wapatia proverbs, methali, na najifanya yani muhenga. So like, and the way I used to perform as well, and alafu nafanya hizo science nini, so this person is very bright. So now this is the name for me. So that's how I ended up with the name Lukman. So it was on a Friday, the 22nd of this year, that's January. So nikaenda kwa hiyo Sheikh Salim, then nikamuelezea. So akaniambia, you're going to town here. At the time I used to work at a bar and restaurant in Ngara. So I was like, as I'm going to work, maybe juu naenda hivyo town, let me send you to a person I know in Jamia. Ndio, hata uende upate hadi certificate then. Na juu mimi napenda kila kitu yangu inamalizwa at once. So I was like, now that's good for me. Wacha tu niende tu hiyo Jamia. So nikaenda, katawadha, kasema shahada. So nikasema shahada ya kwanza. I don't know, is it ukisema ya kwanza ni halal alafu ya pili? Because I did it 2 times. Nilifanya hapo kwa nini, I don't know, ilikuwa practice ama rehearsal. Alafu juu ilikuwa Maghrib. Now I had to do it in front of the congregation. And I was so, it was so tensing because I was like, now how do I do this in front of all these people, congregation? So I was tense. Alafu the accent, so unajua at first hautaisema correctly. So unaisema in Arabic, then unasema the translation of it in Swahili. Then I remember the challenge kwanza ilikuwa the following up of hizo steps during ruku, sujud and stuff. Ile kukunja mguu, there is this Somali guy, he's trying, kunja hiyo mguu haiko sawa. So I'm like, yeah, I'm new. Nimeingia leo mimi hata sikuwa najua hivi ndivyo mnafanyanga. So akasema, well, huyo sheikh akaniambia, you just follow what other people are doing, lakini usiangalie direct. So I'm like, so we go. Then it was a nice experience. So I said, it's only that. Now I'm a Muslim. Then alhamdulillah. So I became a Muslim. Then certificate ikakujia the following day. I started my classes. So Ustad Hussein has been very supportive. So I learned how to pray, and I'm still doing it here at Jamia. Me being a Muslim, it's quite fulfilling. And then there's this advice I was given, and especially I was told a lot during that period of like 1 week and after. Everyone I would go to and tell them I'm becoming a Muslim, they will give me this advice. Usifuata Waislamu, fuata Uislamu. Because they are two different things. Because there are so many Muslims out there, but they're not doing the right thing. So if you follow the Islam itself, the Islamic religion, then you won't deviate and you won't like lose hope, and you're like, so you'll be steadfast, you'll be focused. So it has really helped me. Me being Stanley in the past, I used to like give up a lot. I would face a challenge and I'm like, no, let me run away. Because at the time I used to remember, nikiona masaibu imekuwa mingi. I had my grandmother then. So nilikuwa napotea, hata siendi home. Justaki stress, naenda kwa nyanyangu. Naenda nakaa huko 1 week, nangoja kuna tulia ndio narudi. But maybe Lukman, now I face things head on. This is what is coming. I do my prayers, I make a dua and hope for the best. It may not be answered right away, but eventually things will happen. And there are times like, saa zingine hata nakuanga, kesho sina chakula. But I'm like, Allah will provide. And it happens. Sikuwa najua hii pesa nitakuwa nayo, but I'll have it. Nitajua nitakula na nitalala and everything. Ama sina rent, but eventually huwa inajileta, I don't know. But si ati nakuanga nimekaa, I'm very hardworking. I find ways and means. Even people tell me, hey, you're so hardworking. Yeah. My mom, since she knows me and she's very supportive, she didn't object. But my brothers and sisters, since one is a Catholic, the other is into these new churches, and the other one is still finding out a way. They haven't commented, but somehow you can feel the judgment. Even my friends, because I had to do this experiment for some of my friends. I'm like, I told several of them I'm a Muslim. There are those who are positive, there are those who are negative. Even to this day, they don't talk to me. So like they said, we don't associate ourselves with people from certain religion. You see, it's not that when you convert from Christianity to Islam that challenges hazitakuwa. Actually, there are so many challenges. I was talking to my brother Ibrahim. I was telling him, it's like, ukisha slimu hapo zinakuwa zimekungojea. Because even me, I remember, after kuslimu, sasa nilipatana na zingine. Wacha sasa zile nilikuwa ka Stanley. I had others. I remember there was a time, hadi nikakuja nikamwambia ustad, kuna mtu ananifanyia kisasi, inaonekana nikaa nitafungwa jela. Nikamwambia ustad, nifanyie dua, mimi sitaki kwanza kukuja madrasa. Juu nimefungwa. Like, akaniambia, hama hapo, but I was like, now go where? Sina hata pesa ya kuhama. So ngamwambia, mimi niko na imani sitafungwa. So I just went home and eventually, I don't know, but something happened. Hiyo kesi ikaisha na ikaisha. I just want to tell people that Islam is a good religion and I welcome everyone. So just don't fear, because there are those superstitions out there. Just take your time, research, and do not fear. You see, most of the people even fear to convert because of maybe the family and stuff. Well, I do not say disrespect your parents. No, respect them. But explain them in a humble way why you chose that. And maybe they'll come to respect it. I hope one day to write a book. That's what I always tell my friends. I'll always write a book because I would like somebody to be inspired by my story and to learn. Because I never gave up. I was at a point of giving up, but I said, let me fight on. Because I'm the one to mold my future. Yeah, kuna mtu mwingine anategemea. You see, there's that superstition that jueni last born utapatiwa na kila mtu. No, I'm a last born anajitafutia, I'm alone. So mtu asi give up, we always there to support each other. Yeah.